I'm going to give you 3 things that I don't want you to do with your driver, and I'm also going to fix them for you. Number 1 is all about your address, because what I see from a lot of amateurs is that as they take their address, they actually address all their clubs the same. So whether they just started the game and they've maybe learnt with irons and then they get into driver, or you're a mid-handicapper or even a good golfer, sometimes we just forget the basics. And one of those big problems is that as we address our driver, what I see a lot of is the ball being too far back in the stance, and that's going to cause a big problem with our angle of attack. So the way the club is coming down into the golf ball, we're not going to be able to deliver it in the right manner. I'm going to probably end up getting a strike where it comes out of the roof of the club, which is going to lose distance, and also I'm going to start swinging from more out to in when the ball's back in my stance, or I'm going to have to try and move back to try and get it, so that's going to affect my strike. So a real simple thing, next time you're practicing, I want you to just address the club, take your grip, put the club in, and as you do this, I want you to line that front foot up. So here I've got the cane to help me, but I want that ball to be right in line with the inside of my foot. From there then, as I stand to it, we're going to take the back foot out only. What I don't want to see is what a lot of people do, is line up maybe well like this, and then step both feet out, which results in that ball being more towards the centre of the stance. Grip it, align your club, get that front foot aligned, back foot out, then maybe just flare the front foot ever so slightly. From there then, what that's going to allow me to do, once I then tilt my body so my front shoulder's pointing up a little bit more, I can now start to sweep the ball a little bit more and get that strike back with my angle of attack. So as I'm here, I'm lined up, get a good angle of attack. Beautiful. And if we look there as well, we can see that I've just left the tee in the ground because I had that ball in the right place in my stance, so I was able to sweep it away and not hit down on it because it wasn't stuck in the middle of my stance. Let's take a look at another tip. Second thing, and this applies to a lot of golfers, especially probably maybe the better golfers or people who are starting to get better, maybe they've got control of the driver a bit more and they want a bit more distance. Problem is that I see a lot of people thinking, right, well, maybe I've got rid of that slice now and I actually want to try and knock it a little bit further. And the big issue with that, what I see a lot of players do, as they start to take the club away, they snatch it inside very quickly because they're thinking, well, if I move the club back quicker, that's going to generate more speed, which it will do. But what we see is that a lot of players actually drag it inside too early. So if we imagine the plane of the golf swing, we don't work up it. And also I see a lot of players as they're doing this, roll the face open. So we can see now that the driver face is pointing up towards the sky. What that's going to mean is that as I come back, I've either got to try and roll my hands really quickly to square the face up. Also, because the club's come back inside too much, I'm probably going to want to throw it over the top to try and get it back on plane. So a real simple tip, and I see a lot of players doing this when they're on tour. If we think about the bottom of the driver and we think about our arms, I want them to feel like they're one connected piece as you take it away. So instead of almost feeling that you snatch it in quickly here, I want you to try and feel that as you take it away now, you brush the sole of the driver along the floor, and as you get into where your hands are near your belt height, look at how I've got this nice straight strong line here through the shaft of the club and working up into my front arm. So then as I get towards the shaft being horizontal to the ground, we can see it looks really strong and that club isn't back behind me with the face pointing up to the air. So we've got this being the good look about us, club running down the toe line and the face maybe just turned over ever so slightly, as opposed to inside here, face looking up and the club pointing off in that direction. If we can get this right, we should see that we get a better swing plane and we start to actually get the face a little bit squarer, and then from there I can start to actually hit the ball a little bit better with my driver just by feeling that nice little sweep and even having this little rehearsal as I do it. Oh, one common joke there. As we go through it, that little sweep, little rehearsal gives me the feeling. And a beautiful strike, just drew it a little bit too much, but it's not the worst shot in the world. If you're enjoying this video as well, why not hit that little sub button? Let me become your free golf coach. Third and final tip that I don't want you to do with a driver, and this is the one I see so many times in lessons. I've got a towel here, and this is going to show you something that happens quite a lot. It's attached to the end of my club. You might be able to just tie one to your club if you've not got the little loop on it. But what I see a lot of people do, because we've got the driver in hand, it's the club that's meant to go the furthest, so I want to swing it the fastest, I want to hit it the hardest. As I get up to the top of the golf swing here, I see that that towel's thrown very quickly, and you almost see that it comes down back towards the grip here. We don't want that. What you're doing there is throwing all the energy at the top of the golf swing away. You're not storing it and using it at the right time. What we want to try and do is release the club at the right time. So when I've got this towel on here, and again I feel my little brushing sensation as I take it away, what I want to feel is that as I get to the top now, I almost don't want it to come back down towards me. I want to feel that I hold it, and then from here, if I had it up at the top of my club, I want to feel that I'm really whipping it through, so you can really hear that sound there. It's not thrown up at the top and lost. I feel that I store it, and then I really throw it down at the bottom. So that there, as I'm doing this with this towel on, I'm feeling some resistance, and I'm actually really starting to train releasing it at the right time. So then as I take my towel off and I try and replicate this feeling, what I should start to feel is that I'm able to actually release the club at the right time. So instead of trying to hit it from the top, as I would call it, from here, throwing the towel this way, I want to try and feel now that I would hold on to the towel and then really throw it down at the bottom. And even there you could hear that whooshing noise. It's not whooshed up at the top and thrown, it's down here at the bottom, because I'm starting to use the club and the angles at the right time. So let's give it a go. I'm going to make sure I've got that good setup, make sure I feel that nice connected takeaway, wide sweep, and then from there I'm going to release it at the right time. Nice, and a tiny little fade, and that is all good just down the right side of the fairway. So 3 things I don't want you to do with driver: don't set up wrong, don't snatch it away, and don't throw it from the top. If you can eradicate those, you're going to see that the big stick is going to start working for you. Guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you in your next lesson.